Hello again, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Noble Father podcast. I am your host, Theophilus, and today is January the 27th of 2025. Amazing that 1 month has already gone by, and it's been a roller coaster life. Let's just say, I find myself every time heading into a new year feeling this pent-up anticipation of eager anticipation for what are things that are to come, and I always have this feeling that something amazing is going to happen. And if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, this isn't a place for me to preach to anybody to say I'm a better father than you, or I'm more noble than you are, or anything like that. I'm just as imperfect as the next guy. And some of the things that you'll hear on my podcast are faith related, as it relates to myself. It's a major component of my life, and I like sharing very openly about it because, as an earnest friend, you'd want them to share honestly and not filter anything. And this is really a podcast for me to drop my mask. And so if you're listening for the first time also, and you're a father and you're looking for a space of intentional fathers, we are that. Noble Father is not just a podcast. It is also a membership community. We have a Discord server where many guys from all over the United States and Canada and Australia and other parts of the world are all eagerly wanting community for themselves and want to be better in their fatherhood, in their manhood, in their marriages, in their friendships, in their work, in their business. And we just show up for each other very, very real. At today's episode, I just really want to, do a quick little update of my podcast, of this work, of my month. It's been a month where I haven't had my wife and my daughter with me. They traveled early to China and went to spend time with family right away, as my son wanted to be present with school, finish off some of his schoolwork. And I had some stuff I needed to take care of, including, visas for travel, and business-related legal issues that were going on in the background. Also, church-related, just areas of stewardship that I needed to be present for. It's been a month of, it's been a humbling month, let's just say. One in which, you learn how important it is to have a better half, right? The Bible's very clear about this, right? God created Adam, and when Adam was, tending to matters at the garden, he saw that Adam was not good to be alone, and so, created a helper for him. And so this month has been one in which we've learned very real how important it is to have a helper in our lives and in our walk. And as a business owner, it's a difficult juggle, right? You have all these balls that some you can't afford to drop, and there's others that you can let go of. The beautiful thing about having two people is that you can help juggle things, right? Some days, if my wife is sick, I have to, do the dishes. I have to make food. I have to take care of her. So, how does the business prioritize? How do you prioritize a business over that? Or how do you prioritize, your own self-care, in taking care of your wife? There's responsibilities that need to be had, and in each given situation, you must be present and intentional to make that decision. I think of work as, and I'm not saying it's not doable, right? When I look at corporate work and all that's related to that, you only designated certain times out of the year to do certain things. If you wanted paid time off to go do a vacation, you have to apply for it, and you can also get denied, and all this stuff. How are you able to be present? And when I think about capitalism, I do think that, yes, God has given us work to tend to, right? We have a toil with our hands that we must do, but I also don't think that God intended our lives to be this way, right? He wants us to be present. He's given us these things to steward, and to steward properly. And if he's a loving and perfect God, he would want you to serve it and steward it in a perfect and loving manner. And so this isn't a nag or a jest of corporate work. I just think that we are called to be present. And so, this month has really been one in which my son and I, it's an opportunity for me and him to bond together, right? Our ladies are not home, and we have this wonderful, I mean, just look at this weather. This is January weather that we've had for the entire month pretty much. I think it's only rained like 4 days out of the month. We haven't had snow yet. It's a frost in the morning. And we have glorious sunshine, no clouds in the sky. So we've been taking advantage of these back roads that we have in our backyard here, and taking advantage of the forerunner, just getting out there with my son. And so, though it has been a bit of a difficult month, it has also been one in which there's been a lot of adventure and a lot of growth and a lot of memories that have been made that I'll never let go of. I'll always remember. And this is sending generational ripples in my son's life, and also for himself as he looks forward to being a man and being a father one day. He sees what this all meant for him, and he gets to do it, and hopefully improve upon that. Right, the stepping foundation that he steps on for himself as a father, hopefully, would be better than one I had, in my own journey. And so, as we leave, we leave behind so many things that we have to deal with. We have a lot of stuff that we need to think about. We have a retreat for Noble Father coming up. We have some looming legal battles that we potentially may have to step into, and go on the fighting, the fighting step. How do you say that? Go on the fighting posture for. And it's something that we're going to be prayerfully seeking as we go. This trip is really about going to spend time with family. And so this is a bit of a goodbye, I guess you could say, is that I'm stepping away. And for the time that I'm going to be away, I'm going to be as present as I can, which means that I am not going to be posting podcast episodes. I know that I've done that in the past, and I just feel I don't want to do that for this time as I'm away. But also give you a bit of an eager anticipation is that, heading into after this trip, I am wanting to schedule and have more guests on the podcasts. And ideally, if I can, to never go back to doing monologues again. Yes, many of you have encouraged me and said, hey, you have many good insights to share. Your wisdom is good, and God has given you this brain and this mind to share openly, and you should. And so maybe my response to that is that it's not that I'm never going to do monologues. I am going to prioritize having conversations more rather than just going to do the monologues. And so I am going to be, during the time that I'm away, though I'm not going to be posting episodes, I am going to be scheduling people to have conversations together, and do more video, one-on-one conversation type podcast episodes. And so that's something exciting to look forward to. That's going to help this community grow. I know it's going to help the podcast grow. The listenership has kind of been stagnant, and I haven't really been marketing well. So there's a lot of things that I've been working on, things that I'm dreaming about, and visions that I've been giving. But ultimately, what is God calling me to? And this is really going to be a trip for me to really center myself and ask Him, and to really soul search, to get get that information for myself, and for the longevity of this work that I'm doing, of my own family, of my marriage, of the areas of stewardship that I have in this local area, and abroad, right? I'm also part of this work that we do in China as well. And so major part of my life is all these areas of stewardship. And so that's really all I wanted to share. Is if you're still with somebody, to realize that they are there to help you. And so don't make each other the enemy. Forgive one another. Love each other. It's meant to be done together. And I'm seeing that on a day-to-day basis of how important it is to have my better half. And so I hope that encourages you. And if you're not, make sure that you're looking for the right person, right? Love yourself. Know your boundaries. Find somebody who has the same love for themselves, love for God, ideally, and love for boundaries, understands what they want and what they need, and find this selfless person. Because if you don't find a selfless person, then I guess eventually you're just going to turn into, it's just going to be a whoever can take what's theirs, and that's it. And that's usually where we end up. And so, I'm going to keep this short. Thank you for joining me for this episode. This may be goodbye for now, but I will see you again, and I hope to update you all on this trip. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be an amazing adventure. It's going to be Chinese New Year with the family, which we haven't done in a long time. And if you're of the praying kind, please pray for our family, right? Many of them do not believe in what we believe in. And, it's been the prayer of my heart for many years for them, that they would get to know and understand who their loving Heavenly Father is. And so, thank you for joining me for this episode. Remember that we're not promised tomorrow. And so we must be intentional. We must stay present, and be noble. And thank you for joining me, and hope to see you guys in March. Take care.